As always, please retry the question before watching the video. There's some things you need to know to be able to answer this question. If you don't know them, please add them to your cheat sheet master and go back 5 before continuing in the video. What is another common way to recognize a clause question? And that is if you notice a dependent clause marker in one or multiple of the answer choices. This is often a dead giveaway that it's a clause question in disguise, but for sure you should at least consider it if you see one of those 10 magic words or just one of those dependent clause markers. What are the 3 things that could be wrong with a clause question? Punctuation in the middle of a clause, no independent clause in a sentence, and clauses separated improperly. What are your 3 main sentence structures? Independent plus independent, independent plus dependent, dependent plus independent. How do we separate independent plus independent? The 5 ways. What are the 5 ways? Comma fanboys, period, semicolon, M dash colon. Comma fanboys, period, semicolon, M dash colon. How do we separate independent plus dependent or dependent plus independent? Comma always, comma always. With those in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at number 45. So, answer A. It follows from the fact that brown dwarfs cannot sustain these reactions. Most never deplete their lithium supply. So, first, we have 2 independent clauses here. Okay? Brown dwarfs cannot is our subject verb combo, and the clause does not start with a dependent clause marker. It has all these words. It follows from the fact that brown dwarfs. So it's also awkwardly worded, is another reason we could eliminate A, but just so you see the common error in these wrong answers, we have an independent clause here first. Most never deplete. That is our second subject verb combo. It does not start with a dependent clause marker. And therefore, we have 2 independent clauses, and we need to separate them with one of the 5 ways, and they do not do that in answer A. So answer A could be either eliminated because awkwardly worded, or it can be eliminated because the clauses are separated improperly. And we would know that we should consider whether or not this is a clause question because answer C has the word because in it. It's a dependent clause marker, one of our 10 magic words, and therefore you want to be cognizant of when those words pop into answer choices. They should at least consider whether or not it's a clause question. Answer B, logically, comma. So logically is just an introductory word. It's not even a part of it. So the clause starts with brown dwarfs cannot sustain, which is subject verb combo, does not start with a dependent clause marker. Therefore, that is independent. Most never deplete, also independent. So we have in answer B, independent plus independent, and they are not separated by one of the 5 ways. So those are clauses separated improperly for answer B. Answer C, because brown dwarfs cannot sustain these reactions, most never deplete their lithium supply. So this is a dependent clause marker, and therefore this is now a dependent clause followed by an independent clause. And how do we separate dependent followed by independent? It's comma always, which they do have a comma here. It's kind of not even a comma here, but you don't even have to always separate with a comma, but you definitely, if it was independent, need to separate with one of the 5 ways. And so this is almost certainly going to be our right answer, but we cannot eliminate it. So we'll consider answer D. Brown dwarfs cannot sustain these reactions. So as that stands, we have an independent clause. It does not start with a dependent clause marker. Most never deplete, another independent clause. So independent followed by independent, we need to separate with one of the 5 ways. So answer D is clauses separated improperly, confirming that our answer C is the correct answer. If this made sense to you, please add it to your worksheet, write what you learned along with the answer, and then continue on to the next clause 3 question that you missed on this test. If this is the final clause 3 question that you missed on this test, please go ahead and do the clause 3 mastery until you get 10 questions correct in a row before continuing to the next category that you missed the most of.